Alright, 6E, commissioning independent schools. 6E1.0032, fair consumer practices. This rule implements the provision of section 105, 100504, 100534 Florida State statutes establish a regulation standard for the Commission relative to the fair consumer practice in the operation of independent post-secondary education institutes in Florida. 2. The rule applied for the institutions specified in section 100504.1 Florida State statutes. All institutional locations shall have demonstrated compliance with the fair consumer practices. 3. The definitions contained in section 100502 Florida State statute and rule 6E1.003 Florida Administration Codes apply equally herein unless expressly indicated otherwise. All advertising promotional literature shall accurately and not misleading to the public. A copy of each advertisement shall be available to the Commission upon request for the inspection of each location provided with the administrative service at the level of the educational program provided that shall be disclosed. Compliance with the subsection 6E 2.0045 and paragraph 6E 2.00411C Florida Administration Codes requiring recruitment, admission, and advertising is required for all institutions, operation, soliciting students in Florida. See paragraph 6J for this rule requirement of the statement regarding job opportunities. If any provision information provided for the students, regardless of the salary, such information shall be limited to the accurate, unexerted, and representative to entry level of the salaries reflective of employees having same skills, education, experience for the students will have the upon graduation. And advertising violations occur with the Commission shall require the institution to receive prior approval of the further advisory company copy before publication or broadcasting. Continued advertising violation shall result with the probationary conditions and fines, revocation of license licensure pursuant to section 100534 and 100538. Any placement, reclaim with employment predictions and salary projections used in the institution and its recruiting efforts shall be accurate and based upon reliable statistical data, but it shall be provided in all prospective students and the Commission upon request of the responsibility of the institution to ensure that all claims are kept up to date and to reflect the actual current condition of the job market projections, taking account of the anticipated need of the local community. Advertising shall contain citations of the source of such claims. The institution shall maintain backup of the documentation to support the citations. 5. Any licensed institution offering a program which does not make the graduate eligible to do the required professional examination in that field of the practice regulated profession in the field of Florida must publish a disclosure statement to inform the prospective student clearly unambiguous of this fact. 6. Each prospective student shall provide a written copy that shall have access to electronic copy of the institution catalog prior to the enrollment or collection of each prospective student shall have the written copy that shall have access to electronic component copy the institution catalog prior to the enrollment and collection of any tuition fees and other charges. The catalog shall contain the following required disclosures. Catalog license institutions must also contain the information required in subsection 6E2004, 11, and 12 Florida Administration Codes. The purpose of the institution must be disclosed, but must be disclosed and must be consistent with the section 100501 of Florida State Statute. Education programs, curricula. The curricula shall be published in the catalog and shall state the objectives specific to each of the curriculum requirements to be met. Successful completion of each of the curriculum of the program. Information relating to the course availability prerequisites shall be available for the student. The catalog shall also contain the brief course description of each of the course offered. C. The description of physical facilities. All licensed institutions must describe the physical facilities in Florida, which must meet the requirements of set forth in subsection 6E2004.9 Florida Administration Codes. Information showing the compliance with relevant local safety and health standards such as fire, building, sanitation shall be available to the students. The licensure and accreditation status. The institution shall disclose the status regarding the licensure by the Commission and its status for the accredited institution program is applicable. The level and scope of the licensure accreditation shall be disclosed, and the ramifications of accreditation, lack of accreditation on the ability to sit for professional examinations, eligibility for the financial aid shall be disclosed. The institution must claim that the accredited by an accreditation agency that is not recognized by the United States Department of Education. The following disclosure statements must be made in large bold type, all capital letters, and be inserted with the publication. Advertising is defined in subsection 6E1.0036 Florida Administration Code prior to the identification or the mentioning of the Accreditation Association agency. The required statement is the Accreditation Agency Association listed below are not recognized by the United States Department of Education as an approved accredited agency. Therefore, If you are enrolling in the institution, you may not be eligible for the Title IV Federal Financial Assistance, State Student Financial Assistance, or Professional Certification. In addition, the credits are earned at this institution may not be accepted for transfer to another transfer of another institution may not be recognized by employers. The disclosure statement shall be inserted with the advertising publication where an accreditation be unrecognized with the accreditation agency mentioned. Fee schedule. The institution shall disclose all the fees required to pay the students, including the tuition, laboratory fees, graduation fees, and other required fees. All non-refundable fees must be so identified. F. Transferability with the credits. The institution shall disclose the information with the student regarding the transferability of the credits for the institution from the other institution. The institution shall disclose the transferability with the credit is at the discretion of the accepting with the institution that the student responsible to confirm whether or not the credits will be accepted in another institution for the student's choice. If a licensed institution has entered with a written articulation agreement with the other institution, a list of other institutions may provide with the students along with any conditions and limitations of the amount of the kinds of the credit that will be accepted. Such written agreements with other institutions must be valid and effective at the time of the information is disclosed to the student. The agreement shall be kept on file at all times, available to the inspection commission representative of the student. Any change of the termination of the agreement shall be disclosed promptly to all the affected students. No representation shall be made by the licensed institution but that the credits can be transferred to another specific institution unless the institution has a current valid articulation agreement on file. Units and credits for the apply toward the award of the accreditation may be derived from the combination of any of the following of the units. 1. Units or credits earned with the transfer with the secondary institution were congruent with the applicable to the receiving the institution program, then when validated confirmed with the receiving institution. 2. Successful completion of a challenge examination with the standardized testing demonstrated learning of the credential level in the specific subject matter areas. 3. The prior learned, validated, evaluated, confirmed, qualified instructor for the receiving the institution. G. The admissions of the institution shall disclose its method of assessing students' ability to successfully complete the course over the study for which he or she has applied. The requirements of the admission and the graduation shall be disclosed. If the practice of the career has special requirements and limitations, such as certain physical language capability, the lack of the criminal record, such as the requirements and limitations shall be disclosed with the perspective of the students interested in training for that career. 8. Student financial assistance information should be about the availability of the financial assistance shall be disclosed in prospective of the students. In addition, with each of the institutions shall make a disclosure in writing to be assigned with the date with each of the students applying for and receiving the student loan and to the effect of the student understanding that he or she is obligated to repay the loan. The terms and amount of the repayments, when the repayments will begin, references of the financial assistance available in any of the school catalogs. Advertising shall include the phrase for those who qualify. 1. Student refund policies rules established with the commission minimum refund guidelines for licensed institutions. Refunds policies which pertain to students who are receiving the Title IV Federal Student Financial Assistance or Veterans Benefits shall be made in compliance with the applicable federal regulations. 1. All institutions have an equitable prorated refund policy for all the students, which shall be disclosed in the catalog with enrollment agreement. The similar documents must be uniform and administrated. Any non-refundable fees and charges shall also be disclosed. The institution refund policy should provide a formula with a proration of the refunds based on the length of the time the student remains enrolled up to a minimum of 40% of the program. If the student is changed in tuition for the entire program, 20% of the if the student is charged tuition for the entire program, 20% of the institution charges for the student for the term, quarter, semester, or other time period is less than the duration of the entire program. As an alternative, the institution charges for the tuition for the term of the quarter, semester, and other time period with less than the duration of the entire program establishes a drop they had for the period, which shall be not less than 10% of the period for which of the student is financially committed for 1 week, whichever is less. If the student withdraws before the end of the drop and add period, the student will be refunded with all the tuition and fees as well as any of the funds paid for the supplies and books, equipment, which can be and are returned to the institution. The refund policy shall not consider for substantially all tuition for the entire program of the term. The term for the student has been enrolled for all the minimal percentage of the program of the term. The refund policy provides for the cancellation of any of the obligation other than the book supply, assessment supply of the materials and kits which are not returnable before use within 3 working days of the student signing an enrollment agreement with the contract for funds that shall be made within 30 days of the date of the institution determines if the student has withdrawn. 5. The institution need not keep the attendance but must adopt and publish equitable policies with withdrawal dates will be determined, which may include notification by the students or report from the faculty that the policy should be submitted to the commission before the publication. 6. Non-refundable fees. Regarding the admission and registration of Florida student fees shall not exceed $150. Requirements regarding the refundable policies are stated herein and do not apply with the dormitory meal fee. The refund policy for these fees, if charged, shall be set with the institution and also disclosed in conjunction with the refund policy. J. The employment placement services extend for the placement service shall be specifically described. No guarantee of the placement shall be placed in, made in or implied. The institution may disclose information relating to the market and job availability if verified with the statistical research. However, the institution shall not promise to imply any specific job availability amounts. A statement with additional information regarding the institution, if license, may obtain with the contacting with the Commission for the Independent Education Department of Education, 325 West Ganey Street, Suite 1414, Tallahassee, Florida, 323-999-0400, toll-free, free number 888 224-6684. Reduction of tuition fees. The reduction of tuition fees, other charges with the implemented, with which are specifically with the criteria of student eligibility selection procedures precisely disclosed within the policy of the institution. All students within the enrollment period with the reduction is offered must have eligibility to apply with the reduction under the same circumstances. However, there should be no reduction based upon the timing of the method of the payment. The institution must maintain with the verifiable records, including detailed complete data with the students, and are granted with a bona fide reduction within the tuition that must include with the copies of all the application records. Note the selection committee with the meeting with the copy of the notice for the students who will receive the reduction. This information shall be kept in the file of the institution for the site of the review by the CIE. A licensed institution which is not accredited with the United States Department of Education recognized institutional accreditation agency shall enroll in agreement for the application for the admission, in which the additional catalog shall be building contract between the institution and the student. The binding document shall include, but not limited to, the following: the title binding. The document shall identify the title of the contract agreement application or similar title of clearly and indicate that it will constitute the binding of the agreement upon the acceptance for the institution or the student. Be the name of the institution, name, phone number, the physical address of the institution, title of the program title, license, identifying the catalog time required, number of the clock hours, and credit units, including the number of the weeks and months of the credit hours required for the completion. Credential satisfactory completion costs. All the costs shall be clearly stated. 1. The total tuition for the program must be listed with the total length of the program, the tuition costs per credit hour, clock hour, term of the academic year. Fees. All refundable and non-refundable fees for the repayable to the student. The book and supply for the cost of the books of the supplies may be estimated for the necessary. The item that may be made with the binding of the document stated for the cost of the books and supplies are included with the tuition charges stated within the document. 4. Any other charge, any other requirement to be paid with the student, whether or not to purchase for the school, the cost may be stated with the listing of the goods and services not included in the tuition. G. The terms of payment, the method of payment of all the costs shall be clearly stated with the binding. The document should comply with the federal, state, and laws. The class starts. H. Class starts. I. Anticipated program completion date with the institution that are not colleges or universities. Class is scheduled the day of the evening of the other scheduled class attendance must be clearly stated. If known at the time of the signature of the student. Termination, cancellation of the institution or student for the grounds of proceed with the cancellation binding document by the institution student shall be clearly stated. The L, the refunded policy institution comply with the refunded policy provided in Section 6E1-00326 and Florida Administration Codes. M, the employment guarantee disclaimer. Institution shall publish a disclaimer as provided in paragraph 6E1-00326J Florida Administration Codes. And statement with all the signers that have received the copy of the binding document and catalogs. O, the signature and stamp of the binding of the document shall contain with the date and the signature application and or parent or the guardian the applicable if under 18 years of age. The acceptance date and the signature are appropriate official with the institution. P, with the form that the binding document is not completed with the one side with a single sheet with the paper, the each side with the must be clearly conspicuous, refer to the conditions of the other side of the being part of the document. And if more than one page is used, each page must be numbered with page 1 of then pages or page 2 of etc. If the commission is determined with the ongoing complaints should be show a pattern of the misinformation, lack of a disclosure of the discrepancy between the printed and the electronic verbal information being given to the prospective student, but the commission shall require the institution prepare additional documentation to be individually signed and dated to the student to address the problem significant with the deviation remediation for the fair consumers practices shall be carried around for the probation, denial, revocation of licensure pursuant to sections 1053, 1005.3, 32.7, 1005.34.3, 1005.38.1, and Rule 62 of Florida State Statute Rule 6E20061, Florida Administration Code of the issue. The institution shall develop and publish the following procedure: handling of the complaints, disciplinary actions, appeal of the procedure shall ensure that all the compliance with the disciplinary actions are not held with the capricious or arbitrary manner, but are given with a carefully consideration, appropriate level of administration, but understand with the health and the safety of the students and the staff of the institution primary concern. In the event of extreme cases, it may be necessary for the institution to take immediately disciplinary action. If the institution has emergency disciplinary procedure, the procedure shall disclose for the prospective students and the grounds of such action that shall be classified in much detail as possible. Or 11, prior to the initial enrollment of the re-entry of the students into the program of the pre-licensure of the education of the professional and practical nurse for the certified nursing assistant training programs, any combination of such program, the institution shall provide each of the students the applicable disclosure to be completed by the institution. The disclosure must be signed the day by the prospective student with the school official with a copy of the maintained the student's file, passage rate for the first time the test takes. Passage rates for the first-time test takers and the probationary staff of the program shall provide with the most recent calendar year published with the Board of Nursing. Each institution must adopt the disclosure within 30 days of the day of the information published on the Board of the Nursing website. An institution shall also use the following forms incorporated with the reference may be obtained without cost for the Commission website with the www.fl Department of Education org-CIE or Commission of Independent Education by writing of the Commission of Independent Education at 32 West Gainey Street, Suite 1414, Tallahassee, Florida 323990400. Professional Nursing Student Disclosure Form number 69A with effective of August 2017. B. Practice Nurse Student Disclosure Form number 69B effective with August 2007. Certified Nursing Assistant Student Disclosure Form 609C effective August 2007. 12. The institution responsible for the ensuring compliance with the rule of any person or company the contracted with the employed by the institution on the act on the behalf of the matters advertising, recruiting, otherwise making the representation which may be the access of the prospective student whether verbally, electronically, or by other means of communication. 13. The evidence shall be responsible for the institution requiring the training program for all the staff of the recruit, the prospective students, or the participate in the administrative prospective students at the institution. The training program shall be submitted to the Commission for the approval of which the application for the provisional license, annual license for the license or by a license by accreditation, means of accreditation for the annual review of the license of by means of the accreditation. Institution shall choose the employer of the trainer provided for its training program by May the 8th. The program provided with the contractor has approved by the Commission provided with the program without additional approval. The training should include the information for familiarize the staff, the recruit, prospective students, and who participate in the mission, prospective students, and with the Chapter 1005 Florida State Statute with the institution program, serve as the cost for the terms of the payment, financial, and available to qualified students, refund policy, transferability of all the credits to the other institutions responsible for the employment, projection for the accurate placement of the data for the status for the institution regarding licensure, accreditation facts regarding eligibility, graduates to sit in the licensure examinations to fulfill other requirements of practice in Florida for the career of the professional with the other prospective students wishes to be trained. Other relevant facts for the training program shall be reflected in the fair consumer practice outlined in section 1005.04, 1005.34 Florida State Statute for this rule. Institution shall maintain a file and a copy to record each of the student for each of the location translated in English and conforming with the requirements of Rule 6E 2004 of Florida Administration containing the following at the minimum of the academic transcript. A. B. All the documents evidence for the student eligibility for the enrolled programs. C. Any certificate and diplomas earned. D. The copies of the application contractual agreements. E. The financial records. F. The student's counseling and advising records. G. The record of progress. And H. The nursing student disclosure, if applicable. Rulemaking Authority 1005-22-1E1, 1005-34 Florida State laws implemented 1005-04, 1005-22-1K, 1005-31-13, 1005-32-5, 1005-34 Florida State History News 110. October 19th, 1993, amended April 2nd, 1996, November 5th, 2000, January 7th, 2003, January 20th, 2004, and March 29th, 2004, March 28th, 2005, May 18th, 2005, June 13th, 2005, July 23rd, 2007, February 1st, 2011, and August 20th, 2017. That completes the first section, 6E1003-2.